Hi everyone. Hi Mum. Welcome to episode 4 of Tips, Tricks, and Tools. This episode is going to be a little bit hard for me to film, and you'll have to bear with me. I'm going to have to focus my camera after I show you. I'm going to start with the cutter, and then I can get that out of the way. There's so many cutters out there, and trust me, I've had a number of them. You keep looking for that perfect cutter, right? The one that actually cuts straight and doesn't leave, little hairs on the side. I just got this about 6 months ago, maybe a little longer. And it's made by Fiskars, and I love it. It is big, which is why I'm having to stand when I do this video, because it doesn't fit on my desk all that great, because right here you can probably see part of it, but right here I have the Recollections cubes sitting on one of those fold out tables that you can buy. They're like 6x5 or something like that, 6x4, something like that. So it doesn't give me a lot of space to actually work. If you have a separate space for your cutter, great. I'm lazy, and I like to be able to pull it out and just use it from where I'm sitting at the time. So that is a drawback to this one. The good thing about this one is it folds and clicks in place, and then you can store it. You can hold it by the handle. Now, this here is the guide. So they're metal and they don't move. They are really firm. They're not plastic or anything. Like the runners that you have in some cutters are just made of plastic. So when you run your blade, you're not going to get a straight cut if your hand isn't perfectly straight. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I am not like that. I can't cut straight to save my life. So I wanted something that was going to be more stable. Now, I've had a guillotine, which is the arm that you just, push down. It's great for cutting through chipboard. I don't like it for accuracy of cut. Same thing. If you don't have it pushed at a certain degree, your arm moves, right? So you're going to get, you're not going to get a straight cut. So the hunt was on. I looked into this one versus a different make, which I don't even remember the name of it, but it is a good quality. I just didn't want to spend that kind of money. This one here, I believe, on sale cost me $80, which I felt was a good investment, because all my other Fiskars, I've had to replace the blade numerous times and was costing me a lot of money. It was, I'm here in Canada, and the blades were over $7 for a package of 2. And I could go through those 2 in a month easily. So I felt like, I'm putting a lot of money out there and I'm not getting the results I wanted. So what am I doing? I decided on this one because it will cut through chipboard. It has the rotary blade housed. It's, you can't get your fingers under it even, which is great. If this is moved out, this won't come all the way up. So there are notches on either end, like there's cutouts right here for it to sit in, okay? I like the way they've done, this doesn't bubble up. It's actually under some sort of a thicker coating, which is great, because my other one was starting to bubble and peel. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I figured out how to use it properly. So I'm just going to grab a little piece of scrap here. I don't want to cut anything that I'm actually using. Here, there's some cardstock, well, Kleenex box. Okay, so this is how I cut. Now, when your blade is housed towards you, you want to put your paper, let me pull this off here. You want to put your paper opposite end, okay? So you're pushing towards the paper. So, if I line this up to my 4-inch mark, which is along here, I put my fingers here to hold my guide down, and I put my hand at the bottom, like I'm steadying it at the bottom. That way your blade is pushing right against the metal here, and you're not going to get those little fibery hairs. And then you just give it a push. Ta-da! Perfect, nice, straight cut. I love this cutter. So to me, it was worth the money. Okay, so now I'm going to set this aside. Oh, it also has rubber feet. I just wanted to show you that. So it's very stable when it's pulled out. You just have to make sure all 4 feet are sitting properly, and then your fold will match, you know, so that it's nice and flat in the center, and your measurements will be accurate. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, sorry guys, is turn you, and I'm going to telephoto back in. Let's see how close I want to get. Change my light because it was shining right on the cutter, and I didn't think it was going to show properly. Okay, these are my scissors. I've had plenty of scissors in my lifetime as well. I don't know that these have a make. I believe these ones are from Creative Memories. I've had these for years, and they're very sharp. I've never sharpened them. They've stayed sharp and accurate. The blades are close together, so you get a nice cut with these ones. Sorry, I'm going to cough. My allergies are really bothering me. I know I say that all the time, but yeah, I discovered what I need to do, and I just haven't got around to doing it yet. I have the Tim Holtz. Sorry. I do have the Tim Holtz. Now, I love the Tim Holtz scissors. I like the shorter blade on them. I like that my hand fits in them really nicely, and they're rubberized. And they are Teflon coated. So if you're cutting through like tape, excuse me, something with a sticky back or, you know, anything like that, it won't stay on the blades if you wipe them off. Okay, so they stay nice for me. Don't use anything that will scratch off the coating. And then these ones are my fussy cutting scissors. Again, they're made by EK Success. They have EK on the lid, so there you go. They are really simple to push. I really love them for fussy cutting because there's no strain on your hands. And they're a little bit of a curved blade, so you can get into small spaces. And then, of course, this one's from Memory Keepers. How would I say makers? I don't know why I do that. And they're interchangeable blades. Like the blades can be replaced, so you just unscrew it, and you pull the blade out, and then you just put in a new one. And then you tighten it up nice and tight so that the blade doesn't move around. There's tons of these out there. So, you know, I can't remember which kind I had before. I didn't like it, so I replaced it with this one. And so far, I really quite like that one. Okay, I wanted to mention too, when you're using one of these, you want to use like a mat, a self-healing mat of some kind to protect your work surface, obviously. But also, I use a metal ruler for accuracy. Because if you use a plastic one, when you do this, and you're going to nick the side of your ruler with your blade. So I always use a metal one when I'm using this. Okay, now I'm going to give you a quick little demo on fussy cutting. I'm not going to cut the whole thing out, but I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek at how I fussy cut. Just grab an image here. What did I do with it? Oh, you'd think I would be so organized. Not. I just had it sitting here. I'm not kidding you. I just had it sitting here. Oh, this is ridiculous. Okay, well, here's part of one that I already started cutting out. So I was doing some what am I calling it? Paper piecing. So I had to stamp this image out a number of times and then cut out the pieces. So I love these scissors for that. Now let me telephoto in closer for this. Okay. So I'm going to cut her dress out. Now, when you hold your scissors, try and hold them on a slight tip. See, they're not straight up, they're tipped. That way you can see the black line that you're cutting around, and the cut will go under, not over. So you get less of a raw edge look. Now I just gently squeeze, but as you squeeze, you turn your paper, not your scissors. Okay, so I've still got the scissors in it. I've got my hand slightly squeezed, and then I'm going to turn my paper. And then I'm going to continue with my squeeze. And then I'm going to turn my paper back, and then I'm going to continue with my squeeze. Now at that point you can move it because you've gone around an edge. I really hope I'm staying on camera, you guys. So then I continue with my squeeze, turning my paper, not my scissors. And as you get better, you're just going to go a little bit faster. And really, depending on what you're cutting it out for, you know, some things you don't have to be super picky about. And I'm not all that great at this because my eyesight's not that wonderful. So, you know, sometimes I don't quite see where I'm going. Especially if I've been crafting a while, my eyesight starts to blur. I don't know if you guys get that. It's probably fatigue, but also it's the fact that I'm not wearing my prescription glasses. Okay, so there's the fussy cut edge. Okay, and that's with these. Now, if you're using these, you know, it's really bulky and you can't, I don't know, you just can't maneuver them. It's fine for bigger, like if you're cutting a square or whatever, you know, no biggie. But when you're doing, you know, small things like that, then you're going to want scissors like this of some kind. I know that there's lots of different kinds, and depending upon how your hand functions, this works for me to keep the fatigue down on my hands. So if you have trouble with arthritis or anything like that, you might want the squeeze kind. The other thing I wanted to show you, we're going to pretend that there's a little piece in here that I want to cut out. There's actually a square here. So I'm going to cut the square out. So I'll show you how I do that for these little areas, right? So what I do is carefully, yeah, because you don't want to stab yourself too bad, I gently poke a hole in the center of that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut to the corner there. I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut to the other corner. And then I'm going to cut up to her arm and the other corner. Now, instead of going like this, I'm going to bring it up from the bottom. I find that that is way better for being able to see your work and keeping the paper out of your way. And I'm going to start with just the tip, and I'm just going to nip so that I can get more of my blade up, and then I'm just going to go smaller. I hope I'm on camera. Okay, where did I go? I have no idea where I'm going now. Oh, here. Okay, so there, and then I'm going to turn it. And because I've cut to the corner, it's easier to get your blade around. We're pretending this is still attached, you guys, because I actually cut too far. Okay, and then you pull that out. So then I fussy cut a little corner. So, you know, when they've got the arms and there's a little bit of white, you don't want that to show. That's how I do it. I make a hole and then I work from underneath, and I find that that works way better. Okay, so that's the demonstration. And my tip, and my tools, and I'll show you a project that I just completed. So I'm going to widen out. Now my husband, again, requested a card. Sorry, I'll widen out a little bit more. Requested a card for a co-worker who just got promoted to a new position. So he's like, oh, do you have any congratulatory cards? And I was like, oh, I'm sure I can find something. And he kind of gave me a look. And I was like, what? And he's like, well, those were then, and this is now. And there's a big difference between then and now. So what he was referring to is the way I used to make cards and the way I make cards now. And I thought, you stinker, you know, you're gonna make me make a new card, aren't you? And yeah, that's what he kind of made me do. So originally, I'll show you the card that I was gonna use and just change it a little bit. And he really liked this card. But this card says picture perfect, and it didn't really, you know, mean anything as far as the position went. So I got thinking about it, because then what he did was he started to describe the woman. And she sounds like so much fun. She's really got a personality. And he says, you know, she's the type of person, like she's got a calendar on her wall. And every day, you know how people mark off, you know, it's day gone, right? She doesn't just exit. She'll put pow or zoink or like all of the kind of old Batman phrases. So she sounds like she's got a real personality. He says, oh yeah, and the way she dresses, he says she's colorful. She just kind of puts everything together. Hence, the colors I used. Oh wow, I mean, when I brought it upstairs and I showed him, he just smiled and he says, yeah, that's totally her. So, you know, I've never met the woman, and I hope I've captured her personality. So you can see why I did the fussy cutting. I actually paper pieced the Marcy. I did color her hair and her face and skin. And then just whatever was sitting on my desk, that's what I used. Because I thought to myself, well, she probably doesn't coordinate her clothes either, so who cares, right? I just used whatever I had. So I've got plaids going with patterns and, you know, things that I would never put together, but hey, you know, to each his own. Anyway, I fussy cut out her headband, glasses, her little kerchief here, her purse. This I just colored in with actually just a Sharpie, as well as the bottom of her shoes, but I did paper piece her shoes and her socks. Her socks don't even match. There's one pink, one green, which is hilarious to me. And then I used the Judikins dimensional glaze, diamond glaze, that's what it's called. Diamond glaze, this one here. And yeah, so I just kind of, I glossied up her glasses and all the little bits. And then I found this paper that Irene had given me, and it was, I have a few sheets left in this little 6x6 pad she'd given me. And I mean, they're colors I wouldn't personally use, but those are the colors I needed because, you know, to me, this is what it needed, was something screaming. And that's why I put it on this, to me, a horrible yellow, but it works. It just seemed to work. It's in the background of this paper. There's a little doily back there, and then I just cut out some circles with more of the paper line, and I had these wild flowers. I've got tons of these flowers, you guys, and this is why I don't get rid of this kind of stuff, because at some point you're going to need them. Then there's just some dollar store bling in there, and on the inside I've just, you know, found another piece from the same paper pad. I did ink it up with picked raspberry, and then I cut another one in just a piece of paper that was sitting on my desk. And then what I'm going to be adding is, on the inside, I just bought this new Recollections punch. And so I'm going to add this butterfly. Now what I've done is, I've cut two, and this one here I've got some of the diamond glaze. I'm going to add a little bit more to make it a little bit higher. So when they lay one on top of the other, one side of the wing will be sticking up because it'll be sitting on the glue, if that makes sense. And it's going to go there, and then my husband Ken will write his thing, or he'll get me to write what he wants him to say. And that's the card. I think she turned out super cute. I'm so glad that I I didn't just go with what I had, and because I think it's a little bit more her, And this did say you've got retro style, and he kind of didn't really like that, so I just cut it out, and it says you got style, and then on the inside we'll write congratulations on your promotion, and that'll be that. So anyway, I hope this episode is helpful, and if you have any questions, as usual, please leave a comment in the comment box. And I am trying to answer those comments and suggestions that people are giving me, and thank you so much for some of those. I will be trying somebody had left a comment on putting gesso down first on my envelopes for my journals, letting it dry, and then putting my glue down to add my paper, and I won't get as much wrinkle. I'm going to give that a try for sure, and I will show that to you guys on another episode. So have a great week coming up, and thanks for watching. Bye.